Good evening and welcome to this month's edition of Coinversations with Claire. I am Claire Munde and I'm very excited about the conversation that we're going to be having this evening. It's something that people have been asking quite a lot about. People want to make sure that they are ready for their next job or to interact with other people in their fields or in other fields. And today we have an expert, a personal branding expert, as well as a LinkedIn optimization expert, Florence Wairimu. I'll allow her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself and what she does. And then we will get straight into the topic for this evening, which is how to get a job using LinkedIn. So without further ado, welcome, Florence. Kindly introduce yourself to us. Tell us about what you do, and then we can get the conversation started. Okay, thank you so much. And so we want to just find out how we can use. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you for that introduction, and we're just excited to learn how we can use LinkedIn as a platform to for thought leadership, as you said, and to search for those jobs, to network with other people in our fields, and so much more. So, before this webinar was started, I had sent Florence a few questions on the themes that we'll be discussing tonight, which are questions which I usually hear people asking about LinkedIn. How do I make sure that I've optimized my profile? How do I make sure that I'm reaching out to the right constituents and whatnot? And so she has made for us quite a good presentation. And so I think I'll just put that presentation over here, and then I will let Florence take it from here, and then I will keep on searching the comment section for questions as we sample some of the things that people are asking about. So maybe, Florence, you can start the presentation, and then as we go along, I'll be interjecting once in a while just to see what people are asking for any clarifications. Is that all right? Thank you. Yes, so the first thing that people usually ask is what are some of the most effective strategies that one can use to optimize their LinkedIn profile so that they can attract recruiters? So there's this debate about, okay, you have your LinkedIn profile. What should your picture look like, first of all? There's the avatar, and then there's the background there. Is there a standard format that makes you look more attractive to recruiters? Is there something that you shouldn't be doing when you're putting your photos? There are some people, depending on the field that you're in, they're like, I mean, I'm just sitting maybe at the beachside or whatnot. Is that okay? Or do you have to have a certain look and whatnot? Maybe you can really break it down for us what it looks like to optimize your profile. Well, I think I like what you've said there about you don't do it for the person, because even that happens with CVs sometimes. You hear that people have asked a professional to write their CVs for them, then they land that interview, but then when they're in the interview room, they're like, what? Even them, they're surprised, and then the recruiter is like, isn't this your CV? So I think it's a very good thing that you actually take people through the steps to do it for yourself, because you know yourself best and you're able to target the audience that you want. So I think that's a very good point to put there. Now, the second thing that we were to talk about is how job seekers can use the job search tool to find the relevant job opportunities.
To refine what we are searching for in terms of jobs. The second point is you need to be very clear on the keywords of the job you are looking for, so that you make your search very precise. And once you do this, and once you start doing the searches, you're able to save searches so that you can be able to get notifications when there are new jobs that are posted on the job board. The third thing is to follow and turn on notification for relevant recruiters. A lot of times, some jobs do not land on the official job board of LinkedIn. Sometimes they appear as posts. For example, I also do have a full-time job, 8 to 5, and I landed this job by just following a recruiter who posted a post with the job advert. She did not put it on the official job board, but on her post. So make sure that you have specific recruiters that you're following. Turn on notifications for when they post, because sometimes those jobs are found within those posts, not necessarily in the job search bar or the job board, official job board of LinkedIn. So I think those are the main things I would say. Understand and really interrogate how to do a good job search. Be clear on your keywords, and then remember to save the searches so that you get notifications when new jobs are posted. Then please follow and turn on notification for relevant recruiters in your area, so that whenever they don't use the job board to advertise a job, you're able to see the posts. So that's what I would say are the main points I would focus on, Claire.
Wow, wow, thanks. I think that one about following the recruiters is a good way to go about it, because sometimes we are focused on a certain page. This is the recruiter that I want to work for, and I'm going to their page, not forgetting that you might find that job on actually the recruiter's page. So I think that's a very good tip for people to keep in mind. So thanks for that. Then we also would like to talk about some of the best practices when we are reaching out to potential employers or recruiters on LinkedIn. You talked about finding your job through a recruiter's page. Now, the job market has changed so much right now, and there used to be this thing about canvassing. You don't want to go and talk to a recruiter because it looks like it's unprofessional. What is it looking like right now, the job market? So you said you follow the recruiter, maybe you've been shortlisted. Is it okay to now reach out to them on a DM on their messages and ask them, oh, where is the recruitment process reached? Let's say you've been waiting for a month, you have not yet gotten the feedback, and they say they'll get back. So what are the best practices, and what are the do not do this when you're looking for that job with the potential employers?
So I think for me, I go back to even before there's a job that you can apply for, is looking at target recruiters, especially if you're looking for a serious job that has a lot of competition, is to first connect and engage with these recruiters. Remember, at the end of the day, these are still human beings, these are not computers. So they still value that personal connection. And once you connect and engage with them first, in the near future, whenever they get a job that matches your profile, you might come to mind to them, and they might be even the ones to say, I think you could be a good fit. So one of the things that people overlook the most is that recruiters are still people who are yearning for connection and engagement on LinkedIn. So don't just comment when they post a job, comment whenever maybe they do a post. Engage with them, come first to mind, and they'll be interested to look at your profile. The next thing, in case you find a job and you want to ask the recruiter, or maybe you want to reach out to the recruiter because you know maybe they always have the jobs you are looking for. Be very strategic in how you ask. Just as an example, I think because of the nature of work I do get a lot of messages in my inbox, people asking for jobs, and the way they ask for jobs,
Okay, thank you for that. And it just goes back to what you're saying, the why. Remember that even as you're reaching out, you must have your profile looking like the kind of profile that somebody would be interested in. So there's no use in reaching out to somebody only for them to go to your profile and they're thinking, you don't look like a good fit. So I think that's a very powerful point. So before you reach out, make sure you've cleaned out your profile and it matches the job that you're looking for. And I like also the way you say that these are human beings at the end of the day. That person behind the desk is a human being. So engage with them and build a relationship. And then from that, you'll be able to be top of mind when another vacancy comes in, even not necessarily that one that you're looking for today. So I think those are very powerful points. Now, I think let's also talk about how we can leverage LinkedIn recommendations and endorsements to enhance our profiles. You know, there's that section where people say, I'd recommend this person, I'll endorse them. How important are they when a recruiter is looking at your profile? Is it very good to ask somebody, if you've done work with somebody, please recommend me for that position? How are recruiters looking at this when they're looking for somebody to recruit? Wow, thanks for that. I think it all goes back to the why. The why is always important when you're doing anything. And as you said, you don't need to have 30 people. And then remember what you're applying for. So if you have somebody who knows you're a good maybe event organizer, if that doesn't match the job that you're looking for, there's no need to have them in your recommendation list. So you really need to be strategic on who you're asking for an endorsement. And I like the way you said guide them. Someone might know you for very many things. So what exactly do you want this person to highlight as your strength? So I think it's a good point. Just with your as you do with your referees as well, give some guiding points. I think that's very powerful. Now, let's talk a little bit about the types of content we should be sharing and using to ensure that we have visibility. You talked about some people have their profile, they've set it up, but the last time they did a post is so long time ago, which is not a good thing. So, what kind of content should we be putting on our LinkedIn profiles to make sure that we look like we are a good fit for the kind of job we are looking to get? Wow. Thanks for that. So it's about continuous learning. So even if you don't know something today, also make sure you're improving yourself and also making sure that you're offering value. What value would you be giving to that organization if you are hired for it? So those are very good points to note. Now, let's talk about building a strong network on LinkedIn. Now that we are doing posts, so let's say we were not as active before, but now we've started putting the posts that are of high value and whatnot. Now, how do we now build a strong network to make sure that we're continuously connecting with people? I think that's a very good thing that you said. Don't just put great post and you've not even read the post. So it's important to actually engage with the post properly, and then you can build a connection from there. And I like the way you said you built a connection with that lady you're talking about, and you're even going to be doing a collaboration now. So be among the people, the first people to comment, but don't just comment, because there's like an AI generated comments that can be generated. So don't be using those ones that are, wow, we celebrate this great thing, great post, and you're not actually engaged. So be very authentic about how you're connecting with people, and it can really add up. So I think those are good points. Now let's talk about LinkedIn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for that. How have you been? And I don't know you. So people know when you're using AI. So just be authentic, use your own words, and then it can grow from there. Now let's talk about LinkedIn groups. How effective are they when you're looking for a job? There are so many LinkedIn groups. I mean, hundreds and thousands for different spaces. So should you be joining a LinkedIn group that's related to your job, or should you just be joining groups that are things that you're interested in, whether it's just a book club, or should you be specific about joining groups that are in your industry, and how can they be used to get jobs and also network with other people within your field, not just necessarily in the country you are, but even globally? Okay, so it really depends on the stage you're in. And I like that you've talked about that LinkedIn easy apply. Sometimes that's where people are running to. When they see that button, they're like, let me just send, no thinking, no nothing. But you actually have to put some effort into this if you really want those good jobs. So thanks for pointing that out. Now, let's talk about LinkedIn analytics. It's all about data. How do we know that what we are posting is actually making an impact? What's the role of LinkedIn analytics, and how can we use the numbers that we get to tell us whether we are writing posts that are relevant, or whether we need to change our strategy on what we are doing to ensure that we are reaching out to the right audiences and the recruiters to be specific? Thanks for that. And I like the way you said you have to do it on a weekly basis. You can't just do it once every quarter or once every month, because you really need to understand if you're reaching your target audience, what you need to change, and so on and so forth. And you actually brought up the issue of LinkedIn Premium. There are a lot of people who have different opinions on whether you should get it or not. But you said, like, for one thing, you can be able to see who exactly has looked at your profile and then look at it. Maybe they're looking for a person who has the skills that you have. But on balance, what are your thoughts on LinkedIn Premium? Is this something that somebody who is looking for a job should be subscribing to, or is it for a certain level of people who should think of LinkedIn Premium? How beneficial is it, and what are the kind of tools that somebody who is subscribed to LinkedIn Premium can expect to get as opposed to the free version? Okay, thanks for that. So you can consider also the free version and see if it works for you. And if you don't have a job, it could be something that you can consider trying and seeing if it works for you. Now, let's talk about some of the common mistakes that people should be avoiding when they're using LinkedIn for job hunting. You've talked about a number of them, but what are some of these other common mistakes that people might be making and they don't know it's actually the wrong way to go about it? Have you heard me, Florence? Oh, oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, thanks for that. So don't just look at the job board. And then this issue that you talked about, these unprofessional posts, as you said, in Kenya, we are at a time where there's so much happening and people have all sorts of thoughts and whatnot. So, um, how do you know what is too much? Because you might find some people doing things even like memes. Memes, okay, sometimes I see people posting memes and they're very funny. But I ask myself, is this for LinkedIn or should it have been on my WhatsApp or my Instagram? So how much is too much? So like memes, can you put funny memes about jobs? You know, there are people who put even memes about like my boss, I don't know, did what, you know, those kind of memes, and you're like, what if your boss is here on the LinkedIn, looking at your LinkedIn profile, and then like as you said, in Kenya where we are right now, people sharing a lot about their political views and whatnot. How much is too much? Because as you said, you also don't want to just be quiet and pretend like you don't have an opinion and it's a critical time. So how do we weigh, okay, this I may not put on LinkedIn, but at the same time, I also need to contribute to the conversation. I cannot just be pretending nothing is happening around me. Okay, thanks for that. And I like the way you said you can look at it from a different angle. The way you said you did a post about Gen Z and why you shouldn't ignore them and how you can appreciate them within the workplace. So you don't need to pretend like there's nothing happening, but you need to be sensitive to the different audiences that you might be reaching and ask yourself the why. Are you okay when your post goes viral and it's a very strong opinion? And it reminds me of that guy, I don't remember his name, who had a job with an international organization, and then one time they were going through his profile and then they saw a post that he did when he was much younger and it cost him his job. So are you willing to possibly lose out on an opportunity or even get sacked later down the line because of a very strong opinion? So it goes back to your why and find out how you can be sensitive to the time, but at the same time express your opinion without being blind to the fact of what's going on around you. So I think that's a very good point that you've put. Now, let's talk about LinkedIn Learning. You mentioned it a bit, but let's talk about how we can use it. Is LinkedIn Learning available to everybody? Is it only for the people who are on the premium version, or how do we access tools from it, and what kind of things can we access from there that can help us improve our profiles and really understand how LinkedIn works? Okay, I think that's a very those are very good points that you put, that even after taking that course, make sure you put a post on it so that people can really understand that you did the course and you got something out of it, and then pin your certificate and make it feature on your profile so that people can see that you learned something and you're able to really internalize what you learned. Because sometimes people are just accumulating certificates and they don't really even use them. You know, you're just like, oh, completed this course, especially the free ones. People are just like, you're doing as many as possible, but are you really internalizing it? So I think it's very important to put a post, whatever you learned. I think it even helps you yourself just to, like, as a summary, to go through what you learned and put it out there. So I think that's a very good point that you've put. And I mean, we're coming to the end of the presentation, but maybe if there's any other issue that we might have missed out when it comes to LinkedIn, that our listeners and viewers can start thinking about when they want to optimize their LinkedIn. Probably you can talk a little bit about that, and maybe go back to that issue of the keywords, because sometimes you know the keywords in your area, in your industry, but then there are sometimes it's like, do you now just crowd your CV with, let's say, you're in the event space, you're event manager? How do you go about doing it so that it doesn't look like a kind of spamming thing, you know? Wow, thanks for that. And I've put the link to Florence's next cohort 4 of the LinkedIn optimization masterclass in the comment section. So you can fill in that form and then you'll be informed when the next intake is due. And you've talked about you're just passionate about this LinkedIn optimization and personal branding because we're all personal brands and we really need to discover what we are. But maybe you can take someone through this because we're talking about finding a job through LinkedIn. That person who has studied a specific field and maybe they're still struggling to find a job and they maybe are passionate about something but they don't know how to monetize it. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit. You're still looking for a job. How can you make use of the skills that you have and make a personal brand out of it and then even monetize it even as you continue to look for that employment? Because you've talked about now even corporates, when they think of personal branding, they think of Florence and they reach out to you. So each person has their thing. How can you use that thing to get that extra coin? Wow, I think those are very good points that viewers can take up as they look for jobs and use their skills to even build their personal brands and look for those other short term engagements. I think this has been a very good session, and I'm sure viewers have learned a thing or two about how to optimize those LinkedIn profiles. Make sure you're very deliberate. Ask yourself the why. I think that's the key point that has come out. Before you do anything, ask yourself the why, and then go out there and reach out to those recruiters and be very specific about what you're doing. I think it's really important the way you said the recommendations, don't just flood it there. Reach out to people, but make sure your profile is in the right shape first of all before you go out there, because you might be doing zero work. Thanks so much, Florence, for those very good tips and for your advice. And I'd like to give you just an opportunity to reiterate about that masterclass that you hold every other month. Tell us a little bit about it and the next cohort when it's happening, how people can sign up. I'd put it on the comment section for people to sign up so that they can get more information. You can just talk a little bit about that before we wrap up. Yeah. Imagine, actually, yes. Wow, wow, wow. That's great, great. Congratulations on that, Florence. And I think people out here who have been listening and viewing are motivated. Just be passionate about what you're doing. The more you post, you don't know who could benefit from your skills, and you could share it and you could end up starting a program just the way Florence has done. So thanks for that. And as I said, in the comment section, the link to the wait list is there. You can fill it in, and Florence and her team will get in touch with you when they start the next cohort. So thank you so much for this webinar, Florence, and sharing with us how we can optimize our LinkedIn profiles. And I hope everyone will now go and look at their profile and see the gaps that may exist, or if there are no gaps, how they can even take their job search or networking to the next level. So thank you so much again, and I hope we'll do this some other time again, and I hope we'll be hearing some testimonials of people getting new jobs or opening or expanding their networks. So thanks again, and I wish you all a good weekend. Thanks for being here on a Friday evening, and until next time, you have a good one. Thank you.